Today we're going to look at some patterns that are inspired by the spooky season. Hi and welcome or welcome back to my channel. If you're new here, hi, my name is Mathilde. I'm a French beginner knitter, and if you're not new here, thank you so much for coming back. If you like my content, don't forget to subscribe, it really means a lot. And now let's just look at some spooky season knits. I got the idea for this video by someone on Instagram. I'm so sorry, but I can't find your username anymore for some reason. When you're not chatting daily with someone on Instagram, the chats disappear from your inbox, and then to find them again you have to remember the username, and I've not been able to. So I'm so sorry, but I asked on Instagram for some video ideas of what you guys wanted to see, and she gave me this great idea, and I already had some patterns in mind for this video, and so I just went on Ravelry and found a few more, and this is what we're going to look at today. So we're going to look at some socks as well as some jumpers, a beanie, and like some Halloween costumes that you can make for your kids, which I think are really good for obviously the spooky season, but also just a great memory to have for your kids, and hopefully they're quick knits as well. So first of all, let's look at some socks. The first two patterns that we're going to look at are socks by the Petite knitter. They're like kind of twin socks. They're not the same, but they are very similar in terms of the motif and I think the construction as well. So the first one that we're going to look at is the Nocturnal socks. They are so good, honestly. They have 9 sizes, so it includes sizes for children as well as adults. They are cuff down socks with an afterthought heel, and they're made up of this cat motif, which is really cute. You start off by doing the cuff, which includes some color work, which is that cat motif, which is really cute. And then the rest of the sock is in this cute crisscross pattern. And then the designer has used some contrast color for the toe and heel. She used a yarn that isn't really made for socks, I don't think. It's the Biche Le Petit Lamb's wool, which doesn't have any nylon in it, I don't think. But she also has more recommendations for more appropriate sock yarns that you could use for it. But I mean, she does use that Biche yarn quite often in her sock patterns, so maybe they're still durable. I don't know, I've never used it. I haven't used it for a sock, so I don't feel confident in saying that, but if you've used it before for a sock, definitely let us know in the comments if that's a good yarn choice. The gauge is 33 stitches for 40 rows, and she used 2.25mm needles or US 1. Overall, obviously, I think the black cat makes it really great for spooky season, and she used, you know, black, white and orange, and you could still make that sock in different colors for it to be a bit less spooky, but it's still, I think, a great first pattern to look at first. The second pattern by the Petite knitter is the shadow sock pattern, which, as I said, is a twin sister kind of to that first one, so it does have a black cat as well on the colorwork. However, this one has opened eyes, and it does include some more colorwork motifs around, like above and below that cat, which I think are really cute as well, but the rest of the sock is in that same crisscross pattern. It also involves an afterthought heel, and she did use as well a contrast color for the heel and toe. I like that this one includes a 1x1 rib that's made in 2 colors as well. I think that's a really lovely detail. For that sock she used Drops Nord, which I think is maybe a sock yarn, maybe not, but at least it's more affordable. But again, she does recommend other sock yarns that you could use. This also has a gauge of 33 stitches per 40 rows and is knit using a 2.25mm needles or US 1. I feel like you could make one and, you know, have mismatched socks, like one sock being the Nocturnal sock and the other one being the shadow sock, and I think that would be really cute as like that different cat motif to have on one sock and the other if you use either the same colors, or even if you use, I know the Petite knitter likes to use to reverse the contrast color and the main color for her socks, so she has mismatched pairs. Let me know if that's something that you like. I personally like the look of it. I haven't done it yet, but I'm really excited to try one day, especially with one of the Petite Knitters designs. Then we have a couple of socks by Stone Knit. So these are, I think, 5 different socks that are perfect for the spooky season. There's a sock set, which is called the Spooky Sock Set, so obviously very fitting, which she came out with just a few weeks ago, I think. And then there's the I'm Batty for Halloween pattern, as well as the Just Peachy Pumpkin, which is maybe a little bit more of just an autumn vibe kind of sock, but I feel like the pumpkins, because they have faces, they do look a little bit more spooky. So let's look a little bit more in detail at them. I think they're all available in 3 sizes. They're all cuff down colorwork socks, but some of them include a 1x1 ribbed cuff and some are 2x2. One also includes a like sports stripe kind of thing in the cuff, which is really lovely, but obviously could be a detail that you don't make for that sock, or if you choose another pattern by her, you could include it as well very easily, I think. For the Spooky Sock Set and the I'm Batty for Halloween, there's instructions for a short row heel. However, for the Just Peachy Pumpkin sock, it includes a no wrap short row heel, so a little bit different, but obviously you can always change the heel construction for something that you like if you've knit socks before. For most of these designs, she used Malabrigo sock yarn or Regan tweed 4-ply sock yarn, but she does recommend a few others as well, so you can look through Ravelry to see which one she used. For the I'm Batty for Halloween sock, she has a gauge of 36 stitches per 44 rows, but for the other set socks, it's 34 stitches per 38 rows. And she used either a 2.25mm needle, so US 1, or a 2.5mm needle, so US 1.5. So again, I think these are really lovely socks. Most of them are all over colour work, which could be quite a feat, but I'm sure you could just, you know, knit a few colour work repeats on the leg of the sock and then stop at the heel if you're not feeling up to making an all over colour work sock. But they're so lovely, perfect for the season. I think quite a few people have made them already, so you can look through Ravelry to see the colours that they chose for their socks, because obviously depending on the colours that you choose, they would be more or less spooky. The next sock pattern that we're going to look at is the Haunted Mansion sock pattern by Hilke Bus. Hopefully I'm pronouncing her name right. This is a 1 size pattern, so it includes from 34 to 47 EU foot size, which is quite a wide range. So I'm not sure how that works. It is a curved down kind of mid-calf sock with a lovely Fair Isle design. It has instruction for a gusset heel, so like a slip stitch rib, and a wedge toe. So you do have a chart for the Fair Isle design, which I think is so stunning. Like, I would make this in a heartbeat if I thought I could make colourwork sock without knitting them too tight. I haven't tried my hand at this before, so I'm still a little bit wary myself, but I think these are so good. Like the colours that she used for the lights in the house look so realistic, and yeah, I think this is truly a work of art. Anyways, she used a fingering weight yarn. I haven't written down which one, but I'm sure she recommends a few on her Ravelry page, and she has a gauge of 32 stitches per 41 rows using a 2.5mm needle, so US 1.5, and 2.75mm needles, US 2. I'm guessing she switched needle size for the colourwork and then for the stockinette, because I know that's an issue sometimes. So maybe she has some instructions on that in her pattern. I think this is a great design, and I think this is kind of at the top of my list for all of the sock patterns, although I love them all, so kind of difficult to choose, but like, these are a statement, you know. Okay, let's look at the last of the sock patterns. This one is the Haunted Sock by Renarde Endormie. I don't know why I tried to say that with an accent, but Renarde Endormie, it's a French word, meaning the sleeping fox, like female fox. Anyways, this one has 3 sizes available. It is a cuff down sock with a tubular cast on and a simple ribbed cuff, which includes a short row heel, and the leg and part of the foot has this really lovely colorwork design. I love the ghost, first of all, obviously, spooky season it, but I also love the colorwork chart that is right above and below that ghost. And I love that you can see a little bit of that design as well, just above the toe, which is in that same contrast color. This has a gauge of 34 stitches per 40 rows using a 2.25mm needle or US 1.5. And she recommends using any kind of fingering weight sock yarn. I think the purple in that pattern really is suited to the spooky knits for some reason, but you could easily choose different colors for it to be even more spooky, like, you know, the usual black and orange, or kind of like if you have a green that's a bit neon green, I think would be really good for those kind of socks as well. Now I think it's time to look at some jumpers. The first one I don't think is going to be a surprise to anyone. This is the pattern that is connected to that first one that we looked at, which is the Nocturnal Jumper by the Petite knitter, which I think is so lovely as well. This is one that has the same motif as the shadow sock, but is called the Nocturnal Jumper, so I don't know which one came first, but anyways, I love that big black cat. I think it's really cute. This is the one that has the eyes opened as well, but you could obviously make it in like all black and it would still be really cute. So this pattern is available in 10 sizes, so ranging from 91 centimeters bust to 200 centimeters with a positive ease of 10 centimeter. This is a top-down circular yoke colorwork pattern, and it features the same pattern as like a mix of the nocturnal socks and the shadow socks. It's quite an oversized fit. She does say its positive ease is meant to be 10 centimeters, but it does seem like it's a little bit more on her at least. For that pattern she used a DK weight yarn, so she used I think Wool Dreamer's motor, but she does recommend a few others, and her gauge was 18 stitches per 24 rows using a 5mm needle or US 8. So it should be a fairly quick knit if you forego the fact that it's colorwork, and if you've never done a circular yoke, I think this one would be really pretty to make. And again, I feel like this is a spooky season knit, obviously, but I feel like it would be okay to wear it all year round. I feel like it's a good knit to have in your wardrobe if you like those kind of things, which if you're watching this video, I'm sure you do. So we have one last jumper pattern to look at. However, this one includes actually 5 colorwork motifs, so you can make 5 different sweaters with just one pattern, which I think is a great deal, and all of the designs are really great. Some of them are more spooky than others, but they're all in the full collection, which is actually the name of the design. It's called the Fall Favorites collection by Meghan Regan. This pattern is available in 9 sizes, so ranging from 76 centimeters to 182 centimeters, which is a great size range. I don't think she mentions what the positive is meant to be, but looking at the pictures, it's meant to be a little bit oversized. These are all top-down circular yoke colorwork designs, and you have, you know, 5 different colorwork motifs. So the motifs are Pumpkin, the Mostly Ghostly, Superstition, Rustling Leaves, and Dancing Maple Leaves. So let's take a little bit more of a look at them. So the Mostly Ghostly is quite similar to that ghost sock pattern that we looked at, which I think was the Haunted Socks by Renarde Endormie, so it would be a good companion for that sweater. We have the Superstition one, which features a cat as well. This one has a little bit of a different shape than the one in the Petite Knitter's version, and obviously again you do have that pop of purple on some of these pictures, which I think is a great color for spooky knits. Then you have the Pumpkin as well, which is again a pumpkin, not necessarily spooky, but if it does have a face, I feel it's quite spooky. And then the 2 others are more full like, so I'm not gonna go too in depth about them. But yeah, I love the designs. I think they're great, and you could definitely maybe, you know, try and switch, like have a cat, a ghost, and then maybe the pumpkin next to it, or something similar like that. Maybe you could, if you feel confident in your color work and in your design skills, maybe you could play around with them, with the motif like that. So she used a DK weight yarn. I think she used Knit Picks Mighty Stitch, but there are like more than 200 projects using that design, so you can definitely go look through what other used. And she had a gauge of 21 stitches per 24 rows using a 3.5mm needle US 4 or 4.5mm needles, so US 7. So yeah, again, another circular yoke jumper, but which I think is great for spooky season. If you're feeling up to, you know, knitting a whole jumper for kind of one season. So next we have 3 patterns that I think would be great for kids. The first one can be also great for adults, but I think it would fit a kid a bit better. This is the Great Pumpkin Hat by Tanis Gray. This is a free pattern which only has one size. It's kind of meant to fit an average adult head with a slouchy fit. So this is a bottom-up hat knit in the round, and it has a ribbed brim, a cute pumpkin color work, and you do have some instructions for the pom-pom. This one doesn't feature any face in the pumpkin, so it's maybe not quite as spooky, maybe more fall vibes. She used an iron weight, which was the Blue Sky Fibers wool stock tweed, which should make for a fairly quick knit. And she had a gauge of 17 stitches per 24 rows using a 3.75mm needle or US 5 and a 4.5mm needle, so US 7. The last 2 patterns, as I said, are costume, kind of like Halloween costume vibes. So obviously they're a bit more, if you make them, they wouldn't be for... I mean, I feel like the first one you could wear during the fall and winter month, because it's still cozy and warm, but these are meant to be more of like costume kind of vibes. So the first one is the Ewok. I'm not sure how to pronounce that. I know it's like the Star Wars thing, but I don't remember how that's pronounced. So the Ewok hood pattern by Carissa Browning. This is available in 5 sizes, and it's a bottom-up garter stitch hood. She used German short rows to shape the hood, and at the end you do have to attach 2 pompons to make those furry ears. She used a worsted weight yarn. She used Quincenco owl tweed, and she had a gauge of 16 stitches per 32 rows using a 4.5mm needle or US 7. Again, I feel like that's perfect for a Halloween costume, but could also be worn, you know, outside of Halloween to be cozy and cute. The last pattern is only available through a knitting book, so you do have to purchase the whole knitting book. It's a Star Wars theme book, so maybe there could be other ideas for like Halloween costumes, but yeah, these are really for a Halloween costume. Like you could maybe wear it on a cold winter morning like as mittens, but you would stand out for sure. Anyways, these are the Yoda mitts by Carissa Browning. It is available in 6 sizes, so from 0 to 12 years old. It is a cuff up mitten, which obviously only has 3 fingers since it's supposed to be Yoda, knit using the Sid stitch. She used an iron weight yarn, she used Barocco Vintage, and she had a gauge of 22 stitches per 42 rows using a 3.75mm needle or US 5. I feel like maybe you can combine the last 2 patterns to make a Halloween costume. Obviously there are 2 different species in the Star Wars world, but I mean, wouldn't a breed of species be even more spooky? Kind of. Maybe not spooky, but like would fit in within the Halloween world. There are definitely loads more out there. There are some knitting books within the Harry Potter world or Star Wars world that have some patterns that are great for either Halloween costumes or even just, you know, if you want like a dark mark kind of knit inspired, you definitely have some of them in the Harry Potter books as well. But it kind of depends on whether you want to purchase a whole book for just 1 or 2 patterns that you're not maybe going to wear all year round. So I hope you found some inspirations. Let me know if you like those types of videos, like talking about some very specific seasonal knits that you can make. Thank you so much again to the user on Instagram who gave me the idea for this video. I'm so sorry I can't find your username again, but I really appreciate it. And let me know if you want to make some of these knits, or at least one of them. I know I'm really thinking about making those kind of all of those colorwork socks. You know, if I had all of the time in the world, I would. And also the skills, because I don't feel like I'm up to that quite yet. And also those jumpers, I feel like they're really good patterns to have. So yeah, I hope you enjoyed, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye!